Hello, I'm Daniel from CBDC News.eu. First, can you introduce yourself?
So I'm Manish Sinha. I am a professor, director, and dean of Global Business School and Research Center in Pune, which is about 200 kilometers from Mumbai in India. And my background is a PhD in monetary policy, and currently we are working on the CBDC that has been introduced in India and its impact on financial inclusion in India.
Can you describe the landscape of cryptocurrencies in India? How does it look with government and with taxes?
So what has happened is cryptocurrencies they acquired a lot of popularity in India after 2016, and a lot of companies in that area came up. Very young entrepreneurs they came up in this area, and even small towns in India had these crypto companies. But what happened was they started interfering with the monetary policy system of India, and the government did not like this. So in 2018, they introduced a complete ban on these crypto companies. So the entire enterprise died down. But these young entrepreneurs went to the Supreme Court of India, and they got this decision reversed, and the cryptocurrencies company were allowed to operate. However, post that, the government has imposed a 30% tax on all crypto transactions. So clearly, the government is not very comfortable with the idea of these cryptocurrency companies as of now.
Okay, but the blockchain companies, as then like only blockchain companies, are developing well, yeah?
So, blockchain has multiple uses, not only in terms of companies. So, the blockchain enterprise is being encouraged in India because its usage is, it's infinite. Especially in India, land records are a big thing. So, their, crypto usage, blockchain usage is being used. There are other areas where blockchain technology can help. So blockchain is getting that impetus as far as the government is concerned. And of course, on its own, given the technological backbone of India, blockchain is blooming, but not in terms of cryptocurrency.
Okay, and you said that in India you have a lot of unbanked population, uh, people who own the bank account are not using it.
So what happened was in India about 10 years ago, we had a lot of people who did not even own a bank account. So the government came up with a scheme where they encouraged everyone to have a bank account. So they actually asked all its public sector banks to go out to the rural areas to people who are unbanked and open an account for them. So under that scheme, everyone or nearly 90% of the population in India opened their bank accounts. But then they did not use that because it's a cultural thing. They could not come out of their cultural ways of doing transactions. So as a result, all these bank accounts which were opened became, a large part of them became dormant accounts because the traditional use of cash remained.
Mhm. And why did the central bank decide to introduce the CBDC?
So one thing which the government realizes, if they don't do it, this will be acquired by, the space of money will be taken over by private players. So clearly, one, they are worried about it. It already started happening. We have seen what happened in Nigeria, what happened in Kenya, where in Kenya, a telecom company like Vodafone, their talk time started acting as money, and slowly the government realized that it has completely slipped out of their hands. So a similar scenario India didn't want, and therefore they introduced central bank digital currency. The other was they realized that China has already come up with a central bank digital currency, and if they don't come up, then at least in terms of international transactions, uh, at some point in time they might be forced to use the Chinese yuan. So all these considerations have pushed India into the direction of a central bank digital currency.
Okay, and so how does it look? How does landscape look? How many transactions there are? How many people are using this?
So as of now, it's very interesting. We implemented CBDC in two phases. The wholesale phase, where it was only interbank transactions. So interbank transactions part worked very nicely, but the retail phase, it is yet to kickstart, because we already have a digital transaction system very prevalent in India. So there is this unified payment interface which is working superbly, and for people, it's if I there is no real incentive for them to shift from this UPI to central bank digital currency. So for ornamental purposes, I have the CBDC in my mobile, this thing, but I'm not using it because I end up using the UPI. So that transition is yet to happen in India.
And how does this UPI works?
So they have, I cannot tell you about the technology because I don't know, but there is this unified payment system where your bank account gets connected to this, and every time you are trying to, let's say you are buying something, the other person, the seller, has a QR code which you scan, and that QR code represents that person's bank account, and the unified payment system, it connects different kind of bank accounts in India. So if I make a payment, it goes from my account to the other person's bank account with the help of the technology that has been provided by UPI, and it happens in a Ziffy.
Okay, here in Poland we have something called Blik, and it's you know this.
Yes.
Yeah, we can send money on the mobile phones.
Yes.
It's very nice. So, what are the key advantages of CBDC in India?
The basic advantage of CBDC in India is that it aims to look at financial inclusion. So at some point in time, the government is thinking of having CBDC, SMS based CBDC. Not only, I mean, it should not be confined to people having only smartphones, but even analog phones which they have, they can use CBDC through SMS. So the basic purpose in India is financial inclusion, and this is what the government is aiming for.
Mhm. So it will be kind of similar, like now, like there in Africa, there's M-Pesa, and there is something like BitPesa, which you can send over the SMS system, yeah, without connection to the internet. So it be kind of similar, yeah.
Yes, yes. So, the inspiration has been derived from what you just mentioned. The scenario that we saw in Kenya. So, the Indian government and the Reserve Bank of India, the central bank, has drawn inspiration from all these countries to build those functionalities in their CBDC so that it becomes widely acceptable.
Okay, and how does the regulatory works with CBDC, the KYC, and such so on?
Just like any other financial account. So, as of now, CBDC will be linked to a bank account. Now, what has happened is now everybody in India, more than 90% of the population, has a bank account. So, CBDC will be linked to that bank account, and the transactions would be carried via that bank account.
Okay, so the systems like will be only for Indian population, not for the tourists, yeah? Or we as a tourist can use this system as well.
As of now, the system is not for tourists unless and until you have a bank account which can be connected to that. So, as of now, no.
And like, what is the reaction of the population and the privacy matters?
Interestingly, in India, there are some pockets which are concerned about privacy, but the sensitivity towards privacy is not as much as you see in Europe. Uh, People are okay with sharing their data, especially even the young people. They're okay with sharing their data, and companies offer them incentives to come and to share their data. Although the Supreme Court of India recently said that right to privacy is one of the fundamental rights of people, which means it's a signaling to all the companies who are invading that right. But in general, the cultural milieu is such that people are okay with uh, intrusion into their privacy as of now.
Okay, does this CBDC use blockchain? And is it a private blockchain? How does the cybersecurity looks?
So, the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, doesn't use a blockchain system. I don't know the exact technological interface, but as of now, they don't use the blockchain system.
So it's like it's the fully closed system operated only by the central banks, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Mm, And so, how do you see the future of CBDC in India and in on the world?
So, as I was saying earlier, every country of the world will have a central bank digital currency. If they don't do, a private currency will come and occupy that space. So, it is imperative for every government to have a currency of their own. And since people are more and more operating in the digital domain, every country will need to have a central bank digital currency. So in India or in other countries, what is going to happen is you will see central bank digital currency dominating, and at the same time allowing space for speculation in terms of these cryptocurrencies. The cryptocurrencies won't act as means of exchange, but they will act as speculative assets. This is what the future I see.
Do you think there's a chance like the CBDCs in the future will act like a reserve currency of the world, like replacing a dollar?
Yes, I see a future like that where all the prominent CBDCs of the world will act as reserve currencies. So, although US is a little slow as compared to China, but all these prime currencies like yuan and dollars, and they will act as reserve currencies.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for inviting me. Thank